Henry Bermudez was born in the Venezuelan city of Maracaibo, one of the largest oil production regions of the world.
Yo tendría que decir que Maracaibo tiene una idiosincrasia muy particular.
I think that Maracaibo has a very unique idiosyncrasy. This is a region where the Europeans, the Indians, and the Africans mix spiritually and culturally. In my paintings, I talk about that encounter, about the history of the gods and the people of this region. I believe that the way for an artist to become universal is to express their own culture.
Y eso es lo que me ha nutrido a mí.
In 1965, he attended the National Schools of Fine Arts in Maracaibo. During this first period of his life as an artist, Bermudez drew in ink on paper.
When I finished my art studies, I became a teacher in a school in a small town called Bermudez. There I had a room that was facing the jungle, and every time I left my windows open, different animals, birds, snakes and spiders would come in. And if I left the room, monkeys would come in and mess up all my stuff. It was unbelievable. This was a revelation and a learning period in my work as an artist. That explains why I use animals and jungle vegetation in my paintings. This was an intense period of learning and inspiration. The art school gave me the techniques, but the magical and mystical worlds I create in my paintings come from the influence that Bermudez had on me.
From the beginning, Bermudez has been on a journey to experience the world and to get to the authentic core of art making. In 1977, he moved to Mexico City, where he studied for 3 years at Mexico's National School of Fine Arts. Mexico's culture and archaeological art became a reference and a point of departure which made his work gain coherence and the development of a personal style.
Yo llego a México en el año 1977 buscando el contexto latinoamericano.
I went to Mexico trying to understand the modern Latin American art movements. I was impressed by the colors used by the traditional Mexican clothing and by the decorations used in their crafts and pottery. I immediately incorporated color into my paintings.
El color de la artesanía mexicana.
Also, I studied the archaeological Mexican art. Mexico's archaeology has been a source of fundamental inspiration in my work. I have to add that Mexico also gave me a sense of self-esteem and showed me that, as a Latin American painter, my work could be universal.
Y ser muy universal.
While living in Mexico, Bermudez also found himself inspired by the different Latin American art movements of the time. He met with many artists from around the world that confronted him with new ideas. He studied the work of the Mexican muralists Siqueiros, Orozco, and Diego Rivera and incorporated into his paintings the way muralists expressed themselves. After all these years, even though he prefers the canvas, many art critics consider him a muralist.
Empezamos a viajar por el sur de México, en la península de Yucatán.
In one of my trips to the south of Mexico, I met a medicine man that used snakes as a way to cure people. After some initial resistance, we became friends, and I spent some time with him. He was going to teach me how to capture snakes. I remember the night when he took me into a room where he had his magical potions. It was a collection of bottles containing different kinds of snakes mixed with colored liquids, alcohol, and tree bark. The time I spent with this brujo was an experience I will never forget. Some time after my visit, a new character started to appear in my paintings that I called the Snake Charmer. It was inspired by that experience. In the character's face, you can see the contortions and movements of the snakes, the texture of the tree barks, and the scales of the snakeskin.